Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's a CHGO Cubs post-game show presented by PointsBet. Use the promo code CHGO when you sign up to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. Luke Stuckmeyer here with Ryan Herrera. And look at Cody Delmendo sporting the tank top. It's summer in Chicago, but Cody, you're the first person I thought of when that game ended because I came down to do the podcast with 2 outs, and I kept looking at my phone. I thought, well, this is taking too long. So I went upstairs, saw Suzuki pinch hit, and what a crazy finish. All the stuff that happened after they got 2 outs in the 9th inning, the Padres. And, man, the script was written for Frank the Tank to deliver the grand slam home run. You know, right after Sutcliffe is talking about, man, we're pulling for this guy. He's got to do it, you know. Unbelievable. All the way to the ball. I think any other ballpark, it's a home run. I mean, that's a big ballpark. And everybody thought it was gone.
Yeah.
Last year it's gone. Last year it's gone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that ball's gone last year. Everyone knows, like every player has pretty much said that something's up with the baseballs. That said, I mean, I came to terms with being okay that the Cubs were going to lose this one. I thought there was a lot of good things from today's game, and I was okay with it. And then they just had to give me the biggest fake rally like pain that I've had this year. This is this was the biggest almost comeback that they've had this year, and like it's awesome. It's cool. Like you can see they're not giving up. Like that's fine, but man, like they were right there. Like, I can't believe they left Rogers in the game. He couldn't throw a strike. One of those pitches, I think Wisdom was still at the plate. That was almost a pass ball or a wild pitch. And if that ball gets by the catcher, which Nola, fortunately for the Padres, got it, like that ball goes by and the Cubs have tied the game. And we're sitting here and Luke's pissed off because we got to keep watching the game instead of doing post game. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, again, I was okay with the Cubs losing this game because of where we're at in season, blah, blah, blah. We've talked about it every show. But, like, after what we saw in that 9th inning, I really wanted to come, especially for Frank Schwindel. Man, he's really been struggling. We shit on him in pregame yesterday and postgame yesterday. And, like, he's just a good dude. He is a good dude, and you root for guys like that. And then he actually hits it hard, 102 mile an hour exit velocity. And it goes all the way to the wall. It's just,
I mean, a foot short, maybe a foot short.
Yeah. That would have been like a storybook kind of thing. Like just the way the last 48 hours have gone for Frank and the struggles he's had. Like that would have been comes up in that situation. I think we just talked about it, Luke. I think he was the last bench on the bat right there.
I can't think of anybody else that would have been available because Vargas was pinch running and Suzuki'd been brought in. But like you were saying, Ryan, just to recap for people that weren't maybe paying attention yesterday, Schwindel had been sent down to Iowa, never even got to Iowa, was called back up, got a flat tire, and then went 0 for yesterday when he got back 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts, correct?
Yeah.
In the first game. Yeah, then he comes off the bench for this, game on the line, bases loaded, down 1 run. And he takes it all the way to the wall, and they catch it. But I will say this, like everybody's complaining, and I get it, like about the baseball and the ballpark, and we're all bummed. And they also got a home run that probably shouldn't have been a home run earlier in the game. So like the gods giveth and they taketh, you got one that kind of bounced over the wall, and this one, why couldn't the same thing happen twice? Why couldn't lightning strike twice in San Diego?
I think that ball that Rivas hit, though, like, I don't know if he catches it. Like, maybe it stays in the park, but, like, I don't know if he catches it.
It hit his glove. That he should have caught it, I think. When you talk about you get the glove on it, didn't that hit out of, like, the webbing or the palm of his glove?
No, it's like it would have been like a snow cone catch if he actually would have caught
it. It definitely hit the glove, though. It did touch the glove, and then it bounced over.
Going back to Frank's, then Rivas, I mean, that was dead center. Like that was another one I thought was long gone off the bat, and it might not have even been out if it didn't bounce off his glove out of over the wall. But Lance Brzezowski, one of our friends over at Marquee Sports Network tweeted out just like the I think on Statcast, just the kind of cumulative totals of like barreled balls from between this year and last year. Batting average is down basically 100 points. The exit velocity is basically the same, but the distance is also down 7 feet on average. So like, think about maybe this is a year ago, last year, 7 extra feet gets that over the wall. I don't know, that was that again. Like, I think everyone thought just the way it came off the bat on camera. I thought that was going. I think everyone else did too. So that was definitely a tough one to see. Not just fall.
That was one the Cubs deserved. That was not even just the Cubs. Like, all of us here, except for Ryan, because he's the objective one, and then everyone in the chat. Like,
everybody,
like we deserved a go-ahead grand slam from the guy who hangs out at Murphy's bleachers after baseball games. We deserved that. We literally, after the week that we had, like, we deserve a few good ones. We got Kyle Hendricks last night. We deserve Frank Schwindel go-ahead grand slam in San Diego tonight. Like, that would have been insane. That would have been awesome. Ryan, you could have wrote so many stories about Frank Schwindel and how he's like, is he a real person still? Like, people still asking it. Like, just would have been storybook, like Ryan said. Like, that's what makes me more upset, because it was like they got 2 outs, and that's the thing. They did all this with 2 outs. Seiya, who sat on the bench all game, comes up, was down 0-2 in the count. I was getting ready to hook my computer up and get ready to talk about this game with you guys. Then he starts working pitches, makes Rogers throw more pitches. He barrels one up, hits one right up the middle. Then all of a sudden, the guy can't find the zone. He hits Contreras. Happ comes up, hits one on the first pitch, I want to say, to drive a runner home to make it 5-4. And like, Wisdom came up, that looked bad, and he gets hit by a pitch. Like, everything was set up. And the Padres are gonna blow one in the next 5 days because the gods gave them this one. The gods gave them this one. They're gonna blow one in 5 days. Bank it. I'll bet on it.
Too was that that one that did hit Wisdom in the foot, like that. Yeah. It doesn't hit him, that goes to the wall. I think it was Contreras at third. Like, Contreras scores, that's a tie ball game right there. So you don't want. I mean, Cubs love to have the base runner on right there, obviously, but I think they take the pass ball, pass ball, whatever. And
it goes back to the one that I said too, where Rogers threw in way outside, and he was lucky Nola was even over there to get it. Like, he couldn't find the zone. I can't believe the Padres left him in. They got lucky. They really did in that 9th inning. They really got lucky, in my opinion. And if that baseball was used in 2021, that ball is out of the park.
That snag by the catcher was one of the best ones I've seen in a long time. Like, that was like the entire batter's box over. Like, it wasn't even remotely close. The fact that he got a glove on it, and Liam was saying the same thing Ryan did. Like, if it doesn't hit Wisdom, it goes to the wall and they tie the game. It's just another case of bad luck. And you guys know what I say. I always say, you got to make sacrifices. And I'm not saying he should have jumped out of the way or any of that stuff. I'm pointing out that I was willing to sacrifice my sleep tonight, because I'm usually the guy that says, hey, the most important thing here is that the game only goes 3 hours and we get out of here before 1 o'clock for a post-game show. But for Cody's sanity, I was willing to sacrifice that. Once they loaded the bases, I thought, okay, sometimes you got to make sacrifices for your teammates. So I was willing to let this game go till about 2 a.m, and we do the post-game show till 3. But it wasn't happening. I'm sorry. But
hell of a spin zone there.
My effort
Luke
was there.
Yeah, your effort was there. I'll give it to you.
Corey just tweeted out. He said a dramatization of me celebrating Frank hitting a grand slam, not realizing it had been caught. It's the Nick Young shot, turn around, hands out in the air.
Yeah,
he doesn't realize that it bounced out into.
I was jumping up. Like, in my apartment, screaming. My girlfriend's in bed. It's like midnight. Like, she's probably pissed off at me right now because I'm yelling into a mic right now about it. Like, everyone thought that baseball was gone, man. Like, Everyone. There's like not one person that thought that baseball was staying in the yard except for Profar, and that's only because he's the one who caught it.
I'm still waiting for Wooded Dong to put out. Let me know how many ballparks that would have been a home run in. They're usually pretty good about getting like those really long flyouts with the good, good exit velocities and launch angles. But so far, nothing. So I'll keep you updated.
Remember when Petco used to be like a real
humidity?
Yeah. Remember at Petco, I thought they moved the fences in actually, like in recent years, because like I remember like 10 years ago, like that used to be a real hitter's park. People, or not hitter's park, pitcher's park. People like talked about that being a real pitcher's park. But like I feel like now they've like in recent years they moved the fences in. But I mean their baseball team, it's nicknamed Slam Diego because they got so many home run hitters. I mean, I don't know, whatever.
I just, we didn't. I wouldn't say we slammed Schwindel, like you were saying, Cody, in the pre and post game yesterday. We didn't. My point was, I didn't understand why they sent him down when he was struggling and then brought him back, and because I do think he could use some time off. Like he could use some time, and you heard Boog and Sutcliffe talking about how he was out before the game working on things, trying to push the ball the other way, just to kind of make contact and kind of get something going. But and then Rivas plays in this game, and that was really the biggest reason I was like, okay, it's all right if they send him down for a little while. He can work on his things, because there is another guy who's 5 years younger who's also earned the right to have a shot over there. And frankly, he was really good tonight. I was ready to jump on the post-game show and say, see, I told you so. That's why Rivas needs to play. And I still do believe that. But had Frank hit a grand slam to take the lead in the ninth inning with 2 outs, I might have had to change my tone a little bit. So,
yeah. I mean, I guess I would say we didn't slam Schwindel. No. Like we didn't say DFA him or anything, but like, we haven't necessarily said anything nice about him lately. I mean, he hasn't played well. So, I mean, again, I've already made my point to why it's like why I wanted that home run to happen so bad. But go ahead, Ryan. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was going to say, yeah, I mean, Rivas, he had those 2 really good plays at first, which neither of them actually ended in an out. But he had that one, I think it was Cronenworth, that he dove to his right, got that, and, they nearly got him beat out at first. Cronenworth isn't more than above average speed over there, so it was going to be a close play regardless. And then that one before the Padres took the lead on that single, I think it was Machado had that single down the third base line, but it was Rivas. I don't remember who hit it, but Rivas, diving to his left on a ball that would have gone into the corner in right field, keeping that ball. Again, didn't get the out, but kept that ball in the infield and didn't let the tying run score on that specific play. So just 2 plays that don't end in outs, so the box score doesn't like show anything, but you look at it, it was like, well, he's a very good defender over there, and again, we talked about it yesterday. It's like he's kind of earned he's earned at least a look of like an extended, everyday starting first base. And I get Ross likes playing the matchups. He's been very aggressive playing matchups all year, so it's not surprising that Rivas didn't start yesterday, and then if he doesn't start against righties again, I'm not going to be surprised. Or he doesn't start against lefty moving forward, I won't be surprised, because that's how Ross has played the matchups. But I do also agree with you, Luke, that Rivas kind of has earned that. Like he should get that shot to see. But again, yeah, Frank goes deep. We're probably not saying that. Frank hits a grand slam right there. That might not be the tone that we have.
Let's take a look at our who you got. We made our picks. We didn't have a pregame show, but we did make our picks. And Cody had Rivas, who I think you could definitely argue won. Ryan, you had Nico, and I had Wilson Contreras. And I was thinking also when Wilson came up, I was like, oh man, Wilson, this is it. You could put me over the top, but it's also like the second night in a row where you could make arguments for pretty much everybody on that list. I would say Cody won with Rivas because he had the home run and he also had those nice defensive plays, but how many times is Nico going to make that jump play at shortstop? Like Nico's defense is just been spectacular. And then, Wilson had a couple more hits again tonight. So I say we give it to Cody. I think Cody earned it with the home run and the Rivas pick. But I think for the second straight game, all three guys that we picked actually played really well.
Yeah, I won't disagree. As Luke said it last week, like I'm willing to give it to Cody on this one. Contreras had 2 hits. Horner, like you said, he had the hit and the jump.
Should have had more than one hit.
Yeah, he had that drum throw from shortstop, but he also had that thing that they just teach you growing up on base, like always keep the glove on the runner at second just in case. And it's just like I don't know how often I feel like most guys do it, but it's just like it doesn't ever happen. Like you never see that call at second base and you see a guy get tagged out because he popped off the base for a second. But that's just Nico knowing his job right there in that situation. So Nico, we've seen, has been a lot better of a shortstop than I think we expected him to be coming into the season. And right now he's kind of earning that spot, especially with Simmons not being around for the first month plus. Nico's kind of earned that everyday shortstop spot, and then you kind of see where things go from there.
I think is that a good reason to bring up this guy's comment here, Liam's comment with Nico's glove? How it is? Do we want Simmons at shortstop due to his offensive liabilities?
I think you want him as a backup, right?
Yeah.
You want him when you have to sub it every once in a while instead of VR having to play short, which we've seen doesn't work well. You'd have Simmons in there to do that instead, right?
Yeah, and then you can either move. I mean, I don't know how well Simmons plays at second, but I mean, if he's a plus defender at short, he has to be pretty good at second, right? Like, if anything, you could if you feel like he's better at short or he's just more comfortable at short, like. I would say that Simmons is more of a late inning or late game, defensive replacement with an occasional start 1 or 2 times a week based off a matchup, I guess, which I know he's statistically one of the worst hitters in baseball last year, but whatever. But yeah, at this point, I would say he's like when he comes back, I feel like they will use him as more of a defensive replacement, maybe move Nico to second base.
Yeah.
You got plus defenders up the middle.
Yeah, I don't think just the way Nico's played in the first month plus now, Simmons shouldn't supplant him from a lot of playing time at shortstop, kind of like Cody said. If it's like a day you're giving, Nick Madrigal's out for 10 days on the IL now, and then don't know how long it's really going to be. Simmons comes back, then you probably got your shortstop and Simmons. You can move Nico over to second, or maybe vice versa. But Simmons feels like a day right now that he probably should be a guy that comes in and gives Nico a breather and starts at shortstop, or he, if Madrigal needs a breather, then that's when Simmons comes in. He shouldn't be starting at shortstop as soon as he comes, especially not right when he comes up and right when he's activated. He shouldn't be starting shortstop more often than Nico. I think Nico's kind of earned the right to keep playing there often.
I just looked over at the chat and I see the first 4 chats are Paul Smith. Let's go White Sox. Let's go White Sox.
Can we block that guy?
Paul, go to bed.
Why are you here, dude? It's freaking 12:15
in the morning.
Do we live rent free in your head that much? We suck. We get it. We're in a rebuild mode, and you're sitting here trolling. Come on, dude.
That's so bad. Just go to sleep, Paul.
Imagine being this
thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks for the views, dude. He was making fun of how the White Sox had more views on their show tonight or whatever. And it's like, it's freaking 12:15.
Yeah.
What do you know,
it's 12:15 and the Cubs lost.
We're one of the worst teams in baseball right now. We get it. We understand.
All right,
anyway.
I got that out of my system. I've been paying attention to the comments for a while, as I always do.
I do want to, and it was a loss, obviously. And Cody, you said earlier, felt like the Cubs deserved it. I do want to push back on that a little bit. I tweeted it out, but that first inning, you got guys on second and third, no outs, and the Cubs don't do anything. They don't get any of them in. Later on in the game, I want to say they had that. I think the fifth inning they did get a run, but they had, I think it was pretty much the same situation, like second and third or first and third, whatever it was. Could only get the one run. I want to say that was the same inning that Wilson got tagged out at second on Wisdom's grounder. But so there were other opportunities where it probably shouldn't have come down to Frank Schwindel needing to hit a grand slam to give the Cubs a lead. Like there was opportunities for the Cubs to take advantage of what Clevenger gave them early on, and they just didn't. So that's, again, we've talked about that the last couple of weeks. It's just the Cubs not being able to take advantage as often as they should. Again, it was a great game to watch, and they really had it. It really did come down to the last out. So props to, the Cubs in the 9th inning coming back and making it a 1-run game, putting themselves in that position. Michael Givens had another 2 strikeout perfect inning. Daniel Norris shut down 9th inning or 8th, bottom of the 8th. So props that they kept themselves in and gave themselves a chance to win. But there were definitely times early in the game where they had the opportunity. First inning, you got guys at second and third. You could take the lead and you could take the lead and give Wade Miley on his first start. You take the lead, you give him a lead before he even throws a pitch. Instead, he comes down and then the Padres take the lead in the first. So it was just
right.
I'm not saying that
the 9th inning is the reason the Cubs lost the game. Like the Cubs lost the game.
Yeah, agreed.
The Cubs lost the game because of everything you just explained, no doubt. And the fact that Wade Miley walked 5 guys, and a bunch of them were literally after you get 2 outs with no one on, and suddenly forget how to throw strikes. And I'm just going to pray and assume that that's because it's his first start of the year and he had 1 AAA start. That is what it is. But the whole thing in the 9th inning, it was just one of those, it just would have been fun. Would have been fun to. I'd rather be talking about that right now than why the Cubs lost. And then we'd probably have more viewers too. And then Paul probably would have been tired of sitting in the comments reading all of us being a bunch of try hard homers or whatever, and thinking that we're back because I would have
still
played
talking
that.
White Sox in the chat. You get the wrong page, man.
He said he's up watching
Jimenez and Lynn out to
teams.
June. Yeah,
White
I always
Sox
see
ball.
Jimenez out. Thanks. Anyway, the Cubs lost tonight because they didn't get the big hit early in the game. The Padres bullpen outside of Rogers was really good. And even Clevenger was better than I thought he would be. And he struggled early, right? He had 50 pitches after 2 innings. And then that, as the game went on, he was able to give them more than I really expected because, again, 50 pitches after 2 innings, you think maybe he can get you 4 with the way that he was pitching, but he had a few quick innings in there and, was able to get out of some trouble. I think the big reason why they didn't score that first inning is you had Ortega and Contreras on. Ian Happ comes up. He hits it hard. It's on it's a hard grounder right back to Clevenger. He made a really nice play gloving it. And then Ortega, who was being over aggressive, gets in a rundown. Luckily, the Cubs were able to get Contreras to third. Ian Happ, he's in the rundown long enough that allows Ian Happ to get to second. So you're like, okay, you just basically, it was almost like it was a strikeout. So you still got second and third with 1 out, but with 2 guys on, second and third, 1 out, Wisdom coming up, and he strikes out. And I felt like he did in that inning, and I feel like the same type of situation happened in the 5th inning, and he struck out in that inning too. So that's what it is when it comes to Patrick Wisdom. When he hits the ball, man, when he hits the ball fair, usually good things happen. But yeah, he still strikes out a ton, and I don't know. Again, I think he could be a very nice piece on a really good team. I really do think he could. Does he start every day on a playoff team? Probably not. You know what I mean? Unless he can figure out how to hit a high fastball. I don't know. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
So
also, Paul says Herb is my dad.
Herb is your dad.
Herb is that's impossible since I'm at least 5 years older than Herb.
No.
Herb is but
he is
the
my
CHGO uncle. I feel like Herb is
the
uncle.
He might be the nicest guy in our building, right? Everybody that we work with, everybody we work with is super nice, but Herb and Big Dave might be the 2 nicest guys we work with.
Seriously, yeah.
Yeah, but real quickly back to Wisdom. Well, he had the 3 strikeouts today, so we knew that.
Cody is your dad.
You see that comment?
Yeah,
Cody is your dad.
Cody, are you Paul's dad, Cody?
We can proclaim it once again. Whoever Tyler Klein is, this is not my burner account.
Right, exactly.
It's not one of your like 5.
Yeah, it's not my burner YouTube account.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, again, credit the Cubs for making it a game right there on the ninth. 2 for 11 with team with runners in scoring position. Team left on base 10. So just they had the traffic, they had the opportunities. It was just weren't able to get those runs in, and that's something that if they want to be a good team, like especially that first inning, they want to be a good team. That's what has to happen. Sometimes the ball doesn't bounce your way. I think Ian Happ's that you talked about his grounder right back to the pitcher. I think that had like a +4 or 400 plus expected batting average. It was like 100 miles per hour off the bat. So it's like that probably should have been a hit. It just didn't bounce that way. But when you just got to take advantage of that opportunity, and the more often you do that, the better a team you're going to be.
Yeah.
I was thinking about, we talked about how, Miley had some opportunities to get out of it. He'd have 2 outs. Overall, what did you think of Miley? I mean, it's tough to judge. Like, he really, like you said, had no spring training. I didn't have high expectations. I didn't know what he was going to. He started piling up pitches early on, but I don't know. I just think you take this one and kind of throw it out, and he'll be back in 5 days, and you see what you have. But I'm not worried about Wade Miley. I think somebody will trade for him at the end of the year? I kind of do. Do. Might be the White Sox, so pay attention, Paul.
I think that the only thing that was, if you want to nitpick or complain about something, like the 5 walks, like he's not someone who walks guys. And he's coming off a really good season, one of the highest highest B WARs in baseball last year for pitchers. So there was a lot of reason to be excited about him when the Reds literally just dropped him and the Cubs picked him up. But no spring training. He made 1 AAA start, 64 pitches, right? Like you obviously need more, like, especially if the Cubs do want to eventually trade him, right? Like you need more than that. But like, despite the 5 walks, despite the 5 or 6 hits that he gave up, he still like only gave up the 2 runs, and he was able. I mean, if he didn't have all the walks in that, 64 pitches, he's struggling with his command. I don't know if there was like a pitch count on him, but like, I feel like he did what his role is to like come in and just be productive and eat innings. The only thing that he just didn't do tonight was eat innings. Like, you would have liked for him to get you 4 or 5 innings. But yeah, I think that's something that we can look forward to, like in the next start. That was a really good Padres lineup. I mean, Manny Machado has great numbers against him. I bet on Manny Machado to not only hit a homer tonight, but also, get multiple bases, mainly because he has great numbers against Wade Miley. And Manny Machado didn't do anything until Wade Miley came out of the game. So like, I thought that he was, for the expectation for this game, for him, like, he was pretty good. But like, I hope it's not a trend of that we see where he gets 2 outs and then starts walking guys. Cause like that was brutal. That's a lot of how the Cubs gave up runs tonight. And it's just like, you think you're just about to get out of the inning, and all of a sudden you got a 2-out walk, and then a hit, and here we go. Here's, this guy's coming up and he's going to do something. And it's like, we were just about to be out of the inning, man. Like, what the hell?
I thought Robert Gasselman was pretty good for the first 2 innings that he was out there. And, he wouldn't have had given up any runs had he not gone that 3rd inning. I thought that was a positive thing out of the game too. 2 2/3, 1 earned run, 2 strikeouts. Just another guy that's been, around baseball, veteran guy that contributed to the bullpen. I'm not worried about the bullpen. They have enough guys. We still don't know who's going to start the final game of the series, do we? Did Ross say that? Did that pop up anywhere?
No, I haven't seen anything on Twitter. Maybe that, I'm sure Marquis probably broadcast Ross's post-game presser, so maybe he said it on there, but I haven't seen anything pop up yet.
But that, guys get used, and that was the good thing for the Cubs out of the Hendricks going as far as he did on Monday in the win, because he saved the bullpen a little bit. And they needed a few guys tonight, and kind of knew they would with Miley. But again, I thought the bullpen was decent. I like Givens, Gasselman maybe, Efros. I mean, Ethan Roberts when he comes back, and of course Keegan Thompson, Robertson. I mean, really, that bullpen has guys that are. They've really impressed me so far this season. It's kind of just a collection of guys, and I know you guys were both real confident in the fact that the Cubs would be able to find those pieces, and because they've done it before. But I mean, here's another guy that showed that he can get some outs when you need him to, and that's an unbelievable skill if you can find that, because to me, bullpens are the hardest thing to figure out in baseball, because a guy's good one year and he sucks the next year. That's just almost the way, unless you're talking about like the elite of the elite. Unless it's Mariano Rivera, it's pretty tough to find a guy that's good every season. There's always a guy that has.
I thought Robert Gasselman was the most impressive of them all tonight, because when he came in and the Cubs were losing, I was like, this isn't going to end well. And then he shocked me. I mean, the one run that got tagged on him, it wasn't even his fault. It was Chris Martin's fault, right?
Right.
He came out. I mean, some things went his way. Like when they reversed that call at second base on Nola, who hit the double, but then came off the bag, and the Cubs had the challenge or whatever, and they reviewed it and called him out. Like that really helped, not only helped him out, but the Cubs in terms of, saving a run there. But yeah, I mean, he was, from what we've seen him a few times. Like, I hadn't been that impressed yet. But tonight he really impressed me. I think his sister quote tweeted one of our tweets tonight. I retweeted it to our account. I
did not see that.
Yeah, you have to go check it out. His sister.
Oh yeah, that sinker though.
Yeah. And he was getting swing and miss. He struck a few guys out. He got a lot of ground balls. Like, he gave up that double to Noah and whatever. But like, that's the thing about this Cubs bullpen and like the infrastructure within like the pitch lab and everything is like they just go get random names. I just, outside of guys that they drafted, like guys that I'm high on, like Ethan Roberts and other guys that we'll see eventually later this year. Like they've, since 2019, they have just been going and finding random dudes and figuring out how to make them better. And like, I love it, because the bullpen has become so much more important in today's baseball. And so, when we do trade off Robertson and Chris Martin and Givens at the deadline, like, I'm not going to be worried. Maybe I'll be, am I going to care too much the rest of the season in terms of like how the bullpen is? Probably not. But when I go into the next year, am I going to be worried? No, because we're just going to find more dudes. Like, right. It's an assembly line. It really is. Like, it's awesome. And the only thing that makes that pains me about it is like, why didn't we have this in 2018? Like, man, if they would have had this in 2018, that team makes the play, they made the playoffs, but that team wins the division, and that team, it probably goes to the NLCS. Like, that is what it is, though.
Yeah. I wanted to go a little more into some Wade Miley stuff, but Luke, should we see how Cody did on his bets today?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. We'll hit Miley in a second. Cody, who did you bet on tonight?
So I had Manny Machado 2+ total bases, and he got a double, so that's 2 bases. So I won that bet, and I had Mike Clevenger under 5.5 strikeouts, which did not hit. So I went 1-1 on the Cubs game tonight. I made them all on PointsBet, and the best way to support CHGO is to download the PointsBet app and use code CHGO when you sign up. If you make $50 or more first-time deposit, you receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content. You even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. If you have any questions, email pointsbet@allchgo.com and we'll help you. Remember that PointsBet is your home for live in-game betting. They even have a new exclusive feature, live NBA same-game parlay. For the first time ever, build the perfect live same-game parlay only with PointsBet. Combine your favorite bets anytime during the game. You can even boost your live same-game parlays. And now online sign-up is available in Illinois. You can actually download the PointsBet app right now and register your account from start to finish, all from your phone. I say it every show. If Luke can do it, all of you in the chat, even Paul, you can do it. I'm sure you might be a little slower since you're a Sox fan, but you'll probably figure it out if you haven't already. Signing up with the fastest sportsbook is now easier than ever, so you can start living your bet life in seconds. Use code CHGO to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. So what are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. Gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700.
By the way, you guys are probably wondering, like, how am I awake at 12:33 in the morning? You're thinking, I'm too old for this, and I am, but you know, you know what it is? It's the AG1, guys. I took it again this morning. I was beaten last night. I got home, couldn't fall asleep because I was all hopped up on caffeine. I had like 4 iced teas yesterday. Finally fell asleep at like 3 o'clock in the morning, woke up at 6. And so I'm stumbling around the house, took my AG1, but I really started taking it because I wanted better gut health, more energy, optimized immune system. This thing kicked in this morning. I felt great the rest of the day. I've been on this for about 2 months. Doesn't taste like it's that super healthy stuff, but it is. It's a mild tropical taste that I look forward to taking in the morning. And here's what it is. 1 scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, adaptogens to help you start your day right. A special blend of ingredients to support your gut health, nervous system, immune system, your energy. There it is. Recovery, focus, and aging, all of those things. And I get that boost in the morning, so I take it first thing when I get up on an empty stomach. It's also keto-friendly, paleo-friendly, vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free. You're all good with AG1, and you're investing in all-in-one nutritional insurance for less than $3 a day. 5-star reviewed more than 7,000 times. So right now, reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. Just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That's 8 ounces of water. Put the little scoop in. No need for a million different pills and supplements. And to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs for your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/CHGO Cubs. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/CHGO Cubs. Take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. I'm telling you, I'm loving this stuff. I wouldn't know what I would have done with it without that stuff this morning because I was like a zombie when I got up.
Yeah, same. So was I, because like we had late night last night, obviously, right? And like my body's just not used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get
I love
used to
to my girlfriend, she makes these smoothies with like frozen fruit and orange juice. Put the AG1 in there. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
I
Ravi says that's how you do an ad read, Luke. Ravi loves your ad reads. Paul, our friend Paul, also said, I love PointsBet, and that's something we can all agree on.
Oh, that's nice, Paul.
So,
well, I'm glad that he at least uses PointsBet.
And he also said, quit lying about taking that supplement. Why would Luke lie about that? I don't know. Paul's just in here causing trouble.
Luke does not look like he is his age. And AG1 has a
Paul,
huge
I'm
reason to do it.
65 years old. How old do I look? Get off my lawn, jackass.
All right. I wanted to discuss a little more Wade Miley. We kind of went into the bullpen a little bit, pulled back to Wade Miley. Just on the day today, like we said, his line 3 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, all earned, 5 walks, just the 1 strikeout. It just looked like in that first and third, especially, the second inning was fine, but the first and third, he got quick outs. Yeah. And then it just looked like like Cody, you said, he just couldn't get that third out. He started losing command. I want to say that first inning, he walked Machado on 4 pitches after those first 2 quick outs. I thought that inning was going to be over in like less than 5 minutes, it looked like. And I love the pace, man.
I tweeted from the account. Yeah, I tweeted from the Cubs account and was I tagged Luke and was like, Luke's gonna love Wade Miley. He's gonna get these games done quickly.
Oh man, it looked like a modern day Mark Burley out there. Like he was just hit the ball back, get right into his windup. So But that just would have looked like. I mean, I haven't seen any quotes about what he thought of his outing, but that to me, he couldn't get that third out, couldn't get that put away. And that's what. And again, I think Megan Montemurro tweeted it out that it was according to her calculations, was just the fourth time he's faced live hitters since spring training, which is including 2 live bullpens, including his 1 rehab start, and then today, obviously. And I was kind of going back through my notes, my recordings and stuff, and I couldn't find any other times he might have. I mean, he's throwing bullpens. He's consistently been throwing bullpens over the last month and a half, 2 months almost. It's just like facing live hitters in game-like situations. He just hasn't had a lot. So maybe that's it, is when he starts falling behind, that pitch count starts getting up, and by inning, he hasn't gotten that chance to take his breather. He talks about doing the up downs, getting up, pitching his inning, getting back down, getting a little breather, a little break, going back up. So when that inning starts getting a little longer, maybe that's what he's still trying to work through. Maybe that's what he's building himself up to obviously get those innings out of the way earlier, or done earlier, but that getting that up down and not extending himself out too much every inning. That's what it looked like to me. But he did, he's a ground ball pitcher. Last year alone, 10th highest ground ball percentage in the majors, 49.4%, according to Fangraphs. So he gets the ball on the ground a lot. He had 10 ground balls on 12 balls in play today. So that's, something that Wade Miley does. And so when we talk about having Nico, having Andrelton Simmons out there, like Patrick Wisdom's obviously a very good defensive third baseman. Rivas has shown a lot of flashes over there at first, and an above average glove. So if you have a guy like Wade Miley, we already talked about with Hendricks and Stroman, but a guy like Wade Miley, you have at least 3, if not 4, very good defenders around the infield. That's going to work out really well for him. There were a couple grounders that he gave up in that first inning. I want to say it was that
Hosmer.
just kind of,
I don't even want to blame Miley. I just felt like the Cubs didn't have the correct shift on or something. He hit like routine grounders. They were hit hard for sure, but like they were hit like where normally someone's standing, and like I didn't really understand the positioning they were doing.
Yeah, but
that's just me.
It just hit where it seemed like the Cubs weren't at.
Yeah.
But one of the things, and again, we talked about it. I mean, I think even yesterday we were saying that we didn't, like 5 innings would have been like very good from Wade Miley. Like pitch count, regardless, 5 innings would have been great. 4 innings, we were maybe expecting 4. He only got through 3. That's fine. His first outing of the year. It's like he's starting opening day, and everyone else is like a month ahead of him as far as games go, right? But the one thing we have been talking about for the last month plus is the Cubs not getting length out of their starters, which is like even just going 5 innings. And the Cubs had, even including tonight, Miley only got 3. The Cubs only have 10 so far from their starters in almost 30 games now of at least 5 innings. Wade Miley last year, in only 28 starts, he had 5+ innings pitched 21 times, 6+ innings pitched 16 times, 7+ innings pitched 10 times out of 28 starts. So he's a guy is going to go in there and eat up at, for the most part, at least 5 innings. Over his career, he's averaged over 5 innings in, it's like over 1,000, 1,800 innings, something like that. I have it written down. I can't find it. But he's averaged over 5.5 innings, or over 5 innings per outing. That includes, non-starts. That includes maybe coming out of the bullpen every once in a while. So he's a guy that's going to go out and give you length, which is what the Cubs have been lacking until a little more recently. Kyle obviously went 8 2/3. Stroman had that really good start last week. So you get more of that. Obviously, you need that. Wade Miley can bring you that. So
I honestly feel like
debut outing aside, he should be a really important addition as far as giving the length that has been missing from the rotation more often than not.
Yeah,
I agree. I think he's going to be great.
Yeah, no, I'm at the point where I felt like the Cubs, I don't want to say they rushed him back. Like he's clearly was healthy and ready to pitch. But I think that they didn't give him another AAA start. They didn't do anything else in Arizona because they straight up just needed someone proven in there to pitch. Like they needed his presence there, and they're hoping maybe, if he doesn't have those 5 walks, he probably does go at least into the 4th inning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what we read right after the show last night, that they weren't going to have a pitch count on Miley. He only had 64 pitches. He could have gone out there for the 4th. I don't know why they pulled him, and I haven't seen David Ross's quotes yet, so like we'll find out eventually. But I think that basically what you're saying is we will see more consistency of length in this Cubs starting rotation moving forward. And I don't know how many wins it's going to come. I don't know how many more wins it's going to come, but it's going to be nice because then you get games kind of like what we got tonight. I know we only went to 3 innings, but like he did give the Cubs a chance to win. It's not like he went out there and gave up 5 runs in the 1st inning. You know what I mean? Like he did give the Cubs a chance to win. So, whatever. I think that whatever his next start will be very, very interesting.
I just think this roster also, I mean, some of it's been injuries early on, guys like Miley, but I mean, look at the 40-man moves today, and you have more small injuries, and sometimes you see injuries of guys that are struggling, and you wonder, is that just a way of giving a guy a little bit of a break, or is it, an actual injury? Madrigal with the back, Hermosillo with the quad. Those are both 2 guys that were struggling, and maybe they were struggling because of those injuries. Maybe they were adding to their struggles, but Vargas comes up, does the pinch running. We had some other Sampson was DFA'd. I mean, the list of players going back and forth, we knew it would be that way a little bit with the pitching this season because of the short spring training. But because the way this roster is built specifically for this season, you just see kind of guys moving back and forth. And while I find it interesting, I like watching the minor league moves as much. We were talking about this just over text, Ryan, right? Like during the game, and we're like, okay, there was a lot of 40-man activity. But then I see Owen Casey hit his first home run, and you see friend of the show, Max Bain, get promoted up to Double-A Tennessee along with a bunch of guys. And it's like, well, we know that's the future, like that's more likely the future than some of the other roster moves that are happening. It's just, they have to happen at the same time. It's sort of a cycle, like we're watching the major league roster, but I don't know. At the same time, I think the minor league stuff is almost as interesting this season. So I don't want to totally blow it off.
Canario got the call to Double-A as well. And I think I tweeted a video of Cam Sanders. He got the call to Triple-A Iowa tonight, which is very interesting. I don't know if you guys saw my tweet about the 2018 draft. Like the Cubs 2018 draft class is insane. If you just look at if you go through it and you see the names that you can recognize, like Nico Horner's in it, Brendan Davis was in it, Ethan Roberts is in it, Cole Franklin's in it, and then Cam Sanders, who was really good in Double-A last year, was there for 36 strikeouts in 20 innings or
24 innings, yeah. 36
24 innings this year.
24 innings. That's
pretty good, right?
Sanders' kid.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, Scott Sanders'
That'll
kid.
play.
Yeah, that'll play, right?
Play.
So, and he got the call to Triple-A, and it's still early, so who knows? Maybe we see him at Wrigley in September. I don't know, but there's a lot of things to get excited about on the farm, no doubt. And it's not like a lot of people think it's like, oh, we're not going to see any real ones till 2025. Like that's not true. That's not true at all. So we're like, there's, like I said, plenty to be excited about. Again, not trying to cut you off, Ryan.
Yeah, there's. I was gonna say that. I was just agreeing with you in that there's a lot of exciting things going on. I mean, South Bend just won on a walk-off home run. Matt Mervis, I think his name is, walk-off home run for South Bend. They've won 7 games in a row. There's a lot of things going down right there. The roster movement. I don't remember who got called up to South Bend, but like Luke mentioned, Max Bain, friend of the program, Alexander Canario going up to Double-A. There's a lot of things. Brendan Davis and Caleb Killian are both in Triple-A. Will be seen at some point this year. When that is remains to be seen, but will be they will be on the major league roster at some point, in my opinion. But there's just a lot of good prospects. Pete Crow Armstrong is still tearing things up. I was a little surprised he wasn't one of the ones called up to South Bend, but he's obviously killing it in Myrtle Beach. Maybe they want to keep him down there a little longer before giving him that promotion. But just all that is to say that there's a lot of things to be excited about, a lot of players to be excited about down in the system. And you might have to wait a little bit longer to see some of them come up. But then again, that's also why a game like tonight, it's a good game to watch, a fun game to watch. You know that the Cubs aren't winning a World Series this year, just with the way things are constructed. But it's a fun game to watch. It gives Cody a reason to jump out of his seat when Frank Schwindel puts the bat on the ball. That's an exciting game to give. Didn't end up in a win, but that's I feel like games like that, regardless of win or loss, as long as they're competitive games, fun games, helps you get through the season while you wait for some of these other guys to start getting up and start moving up levels, and then obviously eventually come up to the major league.
That was literally all I asked for yesterday, right?
Yeah, competitive.
That's what I asked for.
Well, after the Dodgers series, you've had back-to-back good games against a really good team.
Yeah,
it's good.
But the Cubs have a chance to win a series tomorrow, man.
That's true.
They do. Like, I don't know who's starting for the Cubs tomorrow, but they have a chance in the way that they played the last 18 innings. Maybe I got to drink a little bit more Kool-Aid. I might talk myself into thinking they can win tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
whatever.
I still don't see any starter. I still don't see any starter tweeted out or anything. So maybe we won't know till tomorrow morning. But What It Dong, I did get a What It Dong update. Schwindel's near home run would have only been a home run in 5 of 30 ballparks based on like exit velo, launch angle, distance, whatever it is, which again, we're talking about the dead end baseballs. You add a few more feet, maybe that's a home run in a few more parks, but that's 5 out of 30. I was expecting a few more, definitely. I'm not an expert on field dimensions and stuff like that, but I was expecting a little bit more. But that's our What It Dong update. It would not have been a dong in many
knock it over the wall again. That's all we needed.
That really just brings me down because that's like that. There's just no way that ball doesn't go out last year. There's no way. You won't. There's nothing to prove if it would or wouldn't. But like, I'm gonna go on my grave, and if I had to put it on my tombstone, and I had to put the date of this game or whatever, I'd put it on there that this game, it was because of dead in baseball. So why I got hurt again like this.
You're gonna put all that stuff on your tombstone, Cody. That's gonna be one hell of a tombstone.
I got a whole list of things going on my tombstone one day, Luke. You haven't known me long enough, man. But hey, Ryan, it is what it was. It was a fun game.
Ryan, you got any points bet love for us?
I do got points bet love. I think Paul might have left, or he might still be here. But me and Paul both love points bet.
I'm talking Yankees now.
He's talking Yankees in the chat. Yeah. Okay, so he's still here. Well, I saw him say, "I'll see you tomorrow, guys," or "I'll be back tomorrow, guys," something like that. He's
back. We reeled him back in with some hot content.
Right. Yeah, but me and Paul both love points bet. All my boys love points bet. But if you enjoy CHGO, one way to help us continue to grow is to download the points bet app and use code CHGO when you sign up. Not only are you going to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000, but if you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you'll receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all our web content, and you'll even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. If you have any questions, email pointsbet@allchgo.com, and we'll help you out. And in case you missed it, online sign-up is available in Illinois. You can download the PointsBet app right now. Luke did it. You can too. Register your account from start to finish, all from your phone. You're signing up with the fastest sportsbook easier than ever, so you can start living your bet life in seconds. What are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
It's a great way to help CHGO fans and help us out as well. We do the podcast every show. Let's look at this. It is currently 12:52 in the morning for those of you that are going to be listening to this podcast on Wednesday. We're doing this Wednesday morning, 12:52 in the morning. And it doesn't matter what time it is. We're doing the post-game show for you. We're going to have the podcast for you. And all hours of the night, you can go buy that dope merch we're kicking out there.
Pretty
The
dope.
t-shirts are out. I've seen some actually out on the street now, not just like, hey, somebody showed up in our Twitter feed with a shirt. You're starting to see the shirts kind of show up, which is really cool
Look
to
at
see.
that. Dope merch.
Dope merch, and you get a free shirt when you become a member. The members only Discord, the CHGO Lounge. I was gonna try and debut one of the trial CHGO robes, one of the lounge robes we were talking about, but I've decided maybe that'll wait till Friday because
Okay.
we have another late game coming up on Friday. I thought maybe that'd be, just to like, get the feel for what people think. Like, is this enough robe? Is it not enough robe for the lounge? Should it be more velvet?
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see. But they're out there. They're in production. We're working on that type of thing right now. And before we go, I do want to. What did you guys think of the Angels thing? Did you see the craziness the Angels had in their game?
Oh man,
I saw Anthony Rendon.
I don't usually care about games that are out of the Chicago market, but that was hilarious.
Yeah, Anthony Rendon, lefty home run against, was it Phillips on the Rays over there?
And the Rays use him every time. Yeah, and there's a no-hitter. And
Reed Detmer's no-hitter.
Yeah. 2 questions. Well, I guess mainly one question. But, like, also, I feel like every time the Rays use a position player pitching, it's always Phillips. And it's, like, because he's, like, has this, like, funky or funny-ass, like, release or whatever. And, like, I feel like Cut 4, which is, like, an MLB account, like, always, like highlights him because they're just one of those funny accounts. Anyway, I didn't know if that's true or not. But the other question was the pitcher who threw the no-hitter for the Angels. They say like 22. He's a rookie.
Yeah.
Detmer.
I couldn't figure out who's the youngest pitcher for the Cubs to ever throw a no-hitter? And I know Zambrano was real young, but like not that young. Like I went back on Baseball Reference, like the very first one that was thrown for the Cubs was some guy named Larry something. I can't remember his last name. God, is in 1880, and he was like
pitcher to throw a no hitter for the Cubs,
and he was like 20 years old.
See if I can figure that out.
Like, how many? That might be that guy, but
how many have actually been thrown? I know the number, but I can't think of it off the top of my head.
There's been more than you would probably think, but like I said, the very first one ever thrown for the Cubs was back in 1880.
Nice.
Yeah. So, and that guy did it.
That's a good trivia question.
Yeah. His first name's Larry.
That'll take me a little bit.
Some guy named Larry.
Yeah, it really is some guy named Larry. I was looking at it and I closed the tab now, and so I don't have it on my screen, but I was just curious, like, I wish it could just be Kerry Wood because he deserved that to be a no-hitter, right? But yeah.
It could be.
I saw someone saying that I don't know. I mean, I'm not on Sox Twitter or anything, but I saw like maybe it was like Herb or Sean, or maybe they retweeted someone saying that like they were really hoping Reed Detmers would have fallen to the Sox on the draft a couple of years ago. And I think they said he got taken 1 pick before the Sox, and they ended up that's where they got, was it Garrett Crochet, but that Detmer was just like 1 below. I'm like, yeah, you would have had a no hitter throwing pitcher, and now you got Garrett Crochet instead, which we'll see how it goes. He's young. I'll take it. Oh, I did have a question too. Is like, I've seen this take where it's like the no hitter is becoming like so many no hitters these days, and it's like losing its, what makes it no hitter so great. And I'm like, I know, like the point of baseball is to hit the ball, and if you're sitting there not letting the other team get hits, I don't care how many times it gets done. It's like the pinnacle of pitchers.
Last
like
year, wasn't last year at the first half of the year there was like 6 of them.
They broke the record last year.
Yeah,
they broke the record last year.
Wade Miley threw one last year.
Wade Miley, not just over a year ago. But yeah, but I'm like, to you guys, is there the shine lost off of no hitters just because there's more getting thrown
I think the thing that's kind of like
bit.
taken away from it is the fact that guys like Wade Miley threw one last year. It's like it was always special because like when we were younger, I mean Alec Mills is like that's fine, whatever. Like it was a cool moment for Cubs fans, but like for baseball, is it like cool for baseball? People are like, who the hell is Alec Mills? And I'm sure a lot of people are also like, who the hell is Wade Miley? Like not like I don't feel like outside of diehard baseball fans, not many people know who Wade Miley was. But like when we were younger, it does. But the thing
when
is,
it's a guy you don't know, when it's not Max Scherzer or Jacob DeGrom or those guys,
whenever it happens,
it's like holy crap! Like this guy that I've never heard of,
right? When it happens,
no hits.
When it happens like periodically, but like
take.
it literally happens all the time now. I feel like when it like the random dudes. Like now, if it would have been like if DeGrom had thrown like 2 no-hitters in a year or something like that, whatever, people would be like, oh, they'd be like way more hyped about it because of the name. I'm just saying, like I'm not taking it away. I'm saying that the general public would feel like it's not as special because they don't know who the hell Wade Miley is, or they don't know who, whoever the random no name is. They'll be just like, oh, that's cool. And then they'll move on with their like night or whatever, because our attention spans in 2022 are just ridiculously bad. So like tonight's one was pretty cool because there's a rookie and there was a lot of craziness in that game anyway. So people will remember it in a way. And he was like a top prospect, right? Like the guy had some hype. I think though, like that one will be remembered and like talked about for a while this year. I just like we've seen a lot of them from people that is just kind of like, oh, cool. All right, I'm going to continue with my night now. Like it's just like it to me, the general public would not think it is that cool. You know what I mean?
People are going to remember and talk about. People are going to remember and talk about this podcast a lot longer than they are that no-hitter. This episode that just reached 1 hour, 1 minute, and 56 seconds. It is in the books. We took it all the way to 1 a.m. for you.
There you go.
I think it's good enough time to wrap it up.
Let's do it.
Shout out to Paul. We gave him a lot of cylinder, but shout out to Paul for just for hanging around and just being the troll in the comments.
Yeah, Paul and Ravi keeping it strong.
More so to Ravi.
1 a.m.
More so to Ravi because Paul is now claiming he's a Cardinals fan. Yeah,
Paul's a Cardinals fan.
Apparently, he's a Cardinals
beer
fan.
money comments in there too. So yeah, Cubs lose 5-4. Thanks for listening to or watching the CHGO Cubs postgame show presented by PointsBet. The Cubs-related podcast will be there to give it for you again. Tomorrow's game is an afternoon game for the Cubs. We still don't technically know the starter. We haven't heard it yet for the Cubs, but we'll be here for a post-game show, and then we'll try it all over again.
See if the Cubs can get a series. Will be on it tomorrow.
You guys are going to jump on, right?
Yeah, me and Ryan will be with Corey tomorrow.
If it times out correctly, I may try and sneak in there for a segment and jump on in a velvet robe, but we'll see how that all works out. Yeah,
that's going to be more entertaining.
I'll probably save it for Friday, though. Thanks for listening, and fly the W when you can.
See you.